Greetings, my fellow conservatives, and welcome back to the Tennessee Conservatives Big 7 News Podcast, where we discuss the Big 7 news stories of the week. And guys, this week is a bit of a doozy, okay? Because the long-awaited ordeal of whether or not we will ever see the Covenant school shooters' writings, that question has we have a conclusion now. The shooter's writings have been released in their full capacity, supposedly. So, thank God for the semi-free press or whatever. But before we get into everything we have to discuss today, make sure to subscribe to our free daily e-newsletter. Just text news to 423-205-5600. That's text news to 423-205-5600. And follow us on social media platforms that have not yet shadow banned us. That would be X, formerly known as Twitter, Gab, Getter, Truth, Rumble, and MeWe. Lots of different options out there for y'all to keep up with what is going on in our state. Like, I don't know, all the illegal aliens that continue to flood our state with wonderful, wonderful violent crimes. We'll get into one of those stories today. One of those. Okay, so our first story of the day is released Covenant School Shooters Journal missing any evidence of FBI claims for withholding writings. The now released Covenant School Shooters Journal, part of the so-called manifesto, appears to be missing any evidence of claims used for withholding the writings from the public. According to Metro Nashville Council member Courtney Johnston, last April the FBI claimed that the manifesto was a blueprint on total destruction, including a great level of detail on what the shooter had planned to carry out. The journal, released by the Tennessee Star, covers the early part of 2023, right up to the day of Hale's crimes, and was found in her vehicle by law enforcement. The journal was filled with writings about her unrequited love, her gender identity, and her suicidal thoughts. Hale also ranted about a lack of respect for disabled people as well as transgender people in the US. In her writings, Hale repeatedly talked about wanting to transition and calling a phone number for a suicide prevention hotline up to 5 times in just one day. Hale had been under ongoing treatment for mental health issues at Vanderbilt for more than 2 decades. While it has not yet been confirmed that Hale was under treatment for her gender dysphoria, the angry statements contained in the leaked pages of the manifesto last November could be seen as being consistent with the side effects of women taking large doses of testosterone. That has been my question this whole time. Was she on testosterone? These side effects can include mood swings, anger, and hostility. Women prescribed hormones as part of gender-affirming care have reported feelings of frustration, anger, and irritability for seemingly no reason. Depending on the dose, some women have also suffered from depression and, in extreme cases, even destabilization of bipolar or schizoaffective disorder. Towards the end of the journal, as she counted down toward Death Day, Hale wrote that staying stable for life is like staying sober. It's not reality. New dark matters will form, old ones will return. She also referenced the infamous 1999 Columbine killers and wrote, I want my massacre to end in a way that Eric and Dylan would be proud of. That's my phone telling me to go to bed, you guys. I may or may not be recording this a little bit later than Brandon normally does. Okay, anyways. Yeah, so there's that. Not concerning at all. But yeah, so that's out there now. If you want to read it. Reader discretion advised, I guess I should say. I have not personally read her writings in their entirety, and I don't know if I will, because I don't know if it's really necessary, personally. It's hard stuff to read because even though you know that the actions that this woman ended up committing uh, really warrant no sympathy, it's still hard to kind of see where somebody was at, where they're that deep into it, you know. Anyways, on to our next story of the day. We have, they just keep coming. We have illegal alien up on murder charges in Knoxville after attacking man with pickaxe. An illegal immigrant is charged with attempted second-degree murder after attacking a man with a pickaxe in West Knoxville this past weekend. The 26-year-old was arrested after Knoxville police responded to a call regarding an assault that took place inside a home on Morrill Road. Or Morrell, I guess. I don't know. For all I know, it's Morrill. It's Tennessee. I mean, I grew up here, but we pronounce things weird. Knoxville, it's Knoxville, technically, but it's fine. Okay, anyways, sorry. Jokes aside. Officers found the victim lying in bed with a pickaxe fixed in his skull. According to the incident report, a witness says the victim was attacked and struck numerous times in the head with a pickaxe. The perpetrator turned himself into officers at the scene and was booked into the Roger D. Wilson detention facility. KPD stated that he and the victim, so the perpetrator and the victim, knew each other prior to the attack and it did not appear to be a random incident. The victim was taken to UT Medical Center where he remained with life-threatening injuries as of Monday evening. Inmate records from the Knox County Sheriff show that the perpetrator has an immigration detainer, meaning he is being held for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So, we keep seeing story after story after story, and they're all very, very similar. Okay? All you gotta do is take the words illegal alien or illegal immigrant or something along those lines and stick it next to some sort of violent crime and just smash it together, and that's a headline that you see multiple times a week in Tennessee. Yet people still have the audacity, like earlier, like this year in March, the Tennessee Conservative here, okay, we put on the Protect Tennessee's Borders rally, and people still have the audacity to be like, protect Tennessee's borders, and then they'll just keep focusing on the border down in Texas, and they'll be like, oh, why is nothing happening? And did you see that Kamala Harris took pictures at the border? Okay, it's all political theater, okay? But what you can do is encourage Tennessee lawmakers, okay, to do things in our state. I'm like, will the things that we can do in our state entirely prevent situations like this from happening? Probably not. But we can greatly discourage illegal immigrants from being in Tennessee. Especially the violent ones. Good lord. Can we stop reading headlines like this? I'm tired of it. Okay? And I'm sure the victims of these crimes are also extremely tired of it if they survive. So, yeah, just some food for thought here. Okay, next story is Memphis Shelby County schools violate federal law by failing to report sexual assault and harassment for years. Why am I not shocked? Okay, Memphis Shelby County Schools has violated Title IX regulations by failing to address and report numerous sexual assault and harassment cases involving staff and students. The determination, as made by the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights following an investigation, which revealed a number of incidences of sexual assault and sexual harassment in MSCS schools over a 3-year period from 2017 to 2020. The report cited 7 cases of teachers or substitutes across all school levels sexually assaulting students during that time. Additionally, 53 cases of staff-to-student sexual harassment and 88 student-to-student cases were reported during the same period. One specific case involved an elementary school teacher, later convicted of soliciting sexual exploitation of a minor, who allegedly encouraged inappropriate touching among students during class. The district's Title IX coordinator failed to investigate this case, and the district failed to provide support to the affected students. OCR found that MSCS generally treated reports of staff-to-student incidents as personnel matters rather than potential Title IX violations. I don't know what the problem with that is. That's totally fine, right? There's a reason my mom homeschooled. Yeah, there's a reason. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, let's see. Between it keeps going. Oh, it keeps going. Does it not? Oh, I'm lying. Okay, this is just another story, but it has to do with a similar thing. Okay, Clarksville reported rape cases rise nearly 37%. Okay, Clarksville. Between January 1st and July 23rd of 2024. Okay, so not even a full year. Clarksville has reportedly seen 67 total rapes, a nearly 37% increase from the same time last year. A spokesperson for the Clarksville Police Department did not wish to be interviewed, claiming that, quote, pinpointing criminal behavior is impossible, end quote, and choosing instead to comment on the downtick of other crimes. However, there appears to be a steady uptick in numbers regarding sexual assault cases over the last few years, with the TBI reporting 209 non-consensual sex offenses for 2022 in Clarksville. No data is available for 2023 or 2024 at the time of this writing. And according to the Tennessee Sex Offender Registry, there are a total of 327 registered sex offenders in Clarksville. This is a conversation that my parents and I have had a few times over the last several years when they were moving back to Tennessee and trying to decide where to live. Like we drove up to Clarksville, like in around that general area. I think we were driving through to Kentucky for something, and Clarksville just does not give settle down here and, purchase a home and raise a family. It does not give that. The vibes are all off in Clarksville. It's really not a place that I prefer to be. And I'm not even raising children at this point. I don't want to live in Clarksville. And here's another reason why not to. Besides all the tattoo shops and the smoke shops and just the dilapidating a lot of things and the very just, you know what Clarksville feels like? It feels like certain parts of Dallas, Texas. And that's not a good thing. Okay, anyways. In response to this rising trend of rape, okay, Clarksville has recently formed the Sexual Assault Response Team, comprised of representatives from city, county, and Austin Peay State University law enforcement, healthcare providers, mental health professionals, and local government officials. SART statistics show 99 more sexual assaults in 2023 compared to 2022. All of these reported numbers, of course, do not include the unknown number of rape or sexual assault cases that go unreported, as many victims feel the process is too hard or complicated, or that they will receive no justice. If you know or are a victim of sexual assault, please visit the emergency room and make a police report. Even if it seems the system is slow moving, every report can ultimately aid in the prosecution of sexual offenders. Yeah. Fun stuff.
Guys, go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support. If you give us $50 or a recurring donation of 10 or more, you will get our proud Tennessee Conservative tumbler, a koozie, and a couple of bumper stickers, along with a directory of folks that you can support. Listen, guys, I think only about 6 to 5% of our list is ever given a nickel. If you listen to this podcast, if you watch our news coverage, and you don't give a dime, shame on you. No, I mean it. Shame on you. Look on our website. We have virtually no advertisers. We are all grassroots driven, which is the only thing that allows us to tell the truth. Why don't we have more conservative media, Brandon? Because conservatives sit on their wallet, and then they wonder why the world goes to hell in a handbasket. You gotta support conservative media. Mail your checks to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. That's P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. Or go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support. We appreciate you very much. Thank you to the 6% that are holding up the 94%. I love you. Thank you. You're the only thing that keeps me doing this, because I would have closed the doors 2 or 3 years ago after we got those medical freedom special sessions put in place. If it wasn't for y'all. The continued funding is the only signal I really pay attention to, because what does it say in the scriptures? Look where a man puts his money, and there his heart is also. So thank you guys for having the heart for conservatism. And if you need a heart, go see the Wizard of Oz, and maybe he will give you a heart to contribute to the Tennessee Conservative. Go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support.
All right. Next story is 3 bills that would have closed Tennessee's primaries and helped counter crossover voting killed by RINOs. Shocker. A couple of weeks ago, Representative John Reagan officially challenged his loss against Rick Scarborough in the August 1st GOP primary race after discovering that over 1,000 Anderson County Republican primary voters were allegedly not Republicans. Even though state law dictates that registered voters are technically only able to vote in a primary election if they are a bona fide member of and affiliated with the political party in whose primary the voter seeks to vote, Tennessee's primary elections remain open, and crossover voting remains a major obstacle for true conservatives who choose to throw their hat into the ring. Because what do we end up with when Democrats vote in Republican primaries? Sorry, I can't hear you. Oh, RINOs! That's right. Okay, I'm glad we all know what we're talking about. Okay. Last year, Representative Brian Ritchie and Senator Adam Lowe filed HB 405/SB 452 to officially prescribe a process by which a person must declare a statewide political party or recognized minor party affiliation before voting in a primary election. The bill was killed by a voice vote led by the chair of the House Local Government Committee, Republican John Crawford. Another piece of legislation that could have closed Tennessee's primaries in 2023 was House Bill 1045/Senate Bill 1144. This was filed by Senator Joey Hensley and Representative Kelly Keisling. This bill would have required all Tennessee voters to declare a party affiliation the next time they voted in a primary. Voters would then be ineligible to obtain a primary election ballot for an opposing party. While this legislation would not have prevented crossover voting, it would have at least made it a bit more difficult. The bill was killed in the House Local Government Committee via a voice vote led by Chair John Crawford. Jumping into the 2024 legislative session, our readers may have noticed a familiar-looking piece of legislation crop up, filed by Representative Brian Ritchie alongside Senator Mark Pody. It was this year's HB 1616/Senate Bill 2631. This was the latest iteration of Representative Ritchie and Senator Lowe's bill from the previous year. This legislation was placed behind the budget and then taken off notice in the House by Chair of the Finance, Ways and Means Subcommittee, Representative Gary Hicks. Because, and I know this is how it works. Okay, it just, I know that the governor's budget kind of comes first. Like you got to go through all of that before you can allocate money other places. I get it. It's how it's set up. But can we just close the primaries, please? Can we just do that? If you haven't, you should go check out Gary Humble with Tennessee Stands. They've done some they've put out some stuff recently on why primary elections are different than general elections and why you do not have a civic duty or a right to vote in a primary. Not even necessarily your own party's primary. I don't know if they covered that, but I'm saying that. But I don't know. It's all very interesting, and people don't understand the difference between a primary election and a general election. If you are a Democrat, you should not be voting in a Republican primary. I understand why you would want to. Because if I was living in a largely Democrat area and I knew that the only person who has a chance at winning is a Democrat, I would want to vote in the Democrat primary. But should I? That's the question. Considering it is the Democrat primary and I do not affiliate myself with the Democratic Party, but probably not. The answer is no, I should not vote in the Democrat primary, right? But whatever. Okay, next story is Memphis sues election commission over gun control referendum. Memphis is suing the Shelby County Election Commission over a gun control referendum that the council wants placed on the November 5th ballot. City Council leadership filed the lawsuit after the Shelby County Election Commission said that it would follow direction from state leadership and not place the issues on the ballot. The ballot questions ask about preventing individuals from carrying a handgun without a permit, banning the sale or possession of assault rifles in most cases, with some exceptions, and the addition of extreme risk protection orders, often referred to as red flag laws. House Speaker Cameron Sexton threatened to withhold shared state sales tax from Memphis if the referendum was on the ballot. Memphis received $78 million in shared sales tax last budget year, State Affairs reported. We won't back down and we damn sure won't be bullied, Memphis Council Chair J.B. Smiley Jr. said. Smiley. He doesn't sound very smiley here. That must be a terrible last name to have. Especially for a woman. Because we already get told to smile a lot. You should smile more. You probably get like I'm sure like Mrs. Smiley probably gets that a lot. Okay. New parental rights law leads to additional school medical consent forms. Sounds good to me. Parents of Tennessee public school students are seeing something new this school year as they sign a myriad of paperwork brought home by their children. Among those, a new medical consent form. With phones ringing, dogs barking, and bread burning in the oven, the papers are often signed by busy parents without proper scrutiny. A well-intended new code section created by the Tennessee legislature in the 2024 session aims to codify the rights of parents to raise and care for their children without interference from government. However, it has prompted certain school districts to seek blanket consent for medical treatment of students. I had not read this article. I take back my statement of sounds good to me. Now I'm questioning my prior statement. But that's life, isn't it? That's what I want people to do, so I might as well do it myself, right? In real time right now. Okay. Some forms use I always say don't be a headline reader, and that's exactly what I just did. But hey, it's fine. I wasn't actually doing it. Okay? I wasn't actually being a headline reader. I was showing you guys what not to do. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Okay. Some forms use a carrot and stick approach to persuade parents to give broad consent for non-emergency medical treatment. The stick is language within the forms that compels parents to report to the school immediately to deal with medical issues. If the parent fails to comply or withholds medical consent, the school systems have discretion to call 911 for emergency treatment, and that parents may be responsible for any charges. The carrot is a phrase on the form that minimizes, without an exhaustive list, what non-emergency conditions are, citing stomachache, headache, vomiting, cuts and abrasions, nosebleeds, etc. Parents are advised to read and scrutinize all school-related forms before signing. All right, that was our last story of the day. That's all I got, you guys. But yeah. Make sure to head over to our website, TennesseeConservativeNews.com, and you can find that support button. Give us a little bit of support. We are a donor publication, but there's a good team of us, but we do need a little bit of moolah to keep the whole operation up and going, and we do need a little bit of support in that way, unfortunately, to keep bringing you conservative news the way that we do. But yeah, we've got some new writers on the team, so you guys should definitely be keeping up with the content we're putting out. They've already written several articles that you should go look at, maybe appreciate their writing skills, maybe be like, hey, I really liked this article. Don't go giving them crap. Don't go picking at commas. Okay, I know you guys wouldn't do that. But anyways, I'll stop rambling. Make sure to text news to 423-205-5600 so that you can get a nice little email every weekday sharing our big news stories of the day. Yeah. I don't know, I didn't really put together an outro for this one. I think you guys get the gist. Support us, follow us, and we appreciate your readership and your listenership. And hopefully, Brandon will be back next week for you. Bye.